and Britt left the studio, I was still fired up. So I decided to run through some ballerina moves. I couldn't remember the last time I actually practiced them. I tried a couple arabesques and was actually amazed I could still do them so well. I guess I had been doing some similar moves with the pole over the years, kind of like ballet pole fusion. What can I say? I revolutionize everything I touch. After a while, I just kept thinking of the duet and just wanted to dance it a few more times. I'm basically addicted at this point. I've been dancing it at least a few times each practice. And as I go over to start the tape, he just appeared. Naked. I put the song on, and he went right into it. He knew all the moves. I couldn't believe it. He was really good, too. I went and rewound the tape, and again we went right through it, even better than the first time. I was starting to dance it real sexy, too, and do some improv, and his hammer started to pound. No hands. I couldn't believe it. I had half my clothes off by that point, and I walked all sexy back to the stereo and bent over and shook my booty as I rewound the tape again. I set my finger on the play button and turned around with a big smile on my face. His face, however, had a look of complete horror. And then he just disappeared. And then the front door burst open, and the freak show walked in, wearing nothing but his hammer. And he went, "Well, well, 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 well. Look what we have here." We don't believe it. We can't believe it. We won't believe it. Our eyes must be deceiving us. We must be seeing things. We must be dreaming. We must be out of our minds. Could it be? Is it so? In the flesh? Fuck. Oh, fuck. What can I say? I fucked up? It was only a matter of time? I should have ended him when I had the chance? Oh, life is a tricky bitch. I instantly froze. I couldn't move. His eyes were so light, they were white. And so was he. A white fucking freak show. I don't know how to explain it. My brain went into wacky mode. I guess I just couldn't handle it. Everything about the moment. It was just too intense. Too unreal. I just began to float right up into the corner of the ceiling. I watched myself take the rest of my clothes off, grab my lucky tape from my bag, pull the table out to the middle of the dance floor, and proceed to tape my ankles to the legs of the table. When I was done, I bent over the table, taped my left wrist to the third leg, and with my right hand free, I wrapped the tape around my wrist and then tossed the roll so it wrapped and ran all the way down the fourth leg until it hit the floor. I don't know what it means to say it, but I tried not to hear anything. I saw my face as my head rested on the table, my eyes closed, with no expression. His voice was muffled and his body was blurry, but eventually his hammer smacked me on my ass cheek, and I could hear and see him again. He just kept smacking his hammer back and forth across each of my cheeks. And he went, "You've been running your whole life, Ava. You must be tired. Why have you been running for so long? Don't you realize that there is no escape? Don't you know your running is futile? Didn't you understand that there was nothing you could do? that I would find you eventually? So why run? What is the point? Why are you trying to prolong the inevitable? Ava, you're smarter than this. You're not listening. You're lost, Ava. You have no purpose. You've been hiding from your destiny, and you've wasted your life. You could have reached your wildest dreams by now. You could have had it all. Instead, you've just used all your time running a meaningless race. And for what? Just to be here now? You had the chance to see the light years ago. I gave you every opportunity to learn, and you just wouldn't listen. You ignored me, Ava. You thought you knew better. And look where that got you. Listen to me, you little bitch. Are you listening? It's over. Your shit life is over. And your real life is about to begin. Ava, wake up, bitch. It's time for you to see your dreams come true. And when we are done here with you, we are going to pay our old friend Britt a little visit. And just like that, in an instant, I was back in my body. I shook my hands and legs as hard as I could, but I couldn't get loose. I looked up at the mirror, and that freak show was staring right back at me with his freak show smile, slobber dripping down like a dummy dog who spotted a biscuit. He went to reposition himself to do what he was there to do, and he slipped, fell back, and absolutely cracked the back of his head on the dance floor. And just like that, all was quiet. It took me a second to realize that I had been watering all over the floor. I shook at my limbs again, and my right ankle felt like I could get it free. I used the mirror to move and position my leg loose, and then saw the freak show started to come to. I kept wiggling as fast as I could as he got back into position. He laughed and stared at me in the mirror again and said something stupid. Then he heard me break free of the tape, turned his head over to look, and I arabesqued the fucking shit out of that freak show smile. Like the most direct fucking hit of any hit that ever hit. Absolute perfection. If there was anything in this world that was going to flip his freak show switch off, that was it. He dropped to the floor instantly, and his pretty little head made another glorious thud as it hit the floor. I used my toes to rip the tape off my other ankle. By the way, remind me to get some shittier tape for my bag. My lucky stuff was a real pain to deal with. My first wrist took forever to get loose. Thank fuck I have tough toes. Once I was completely untaped, I looked over at Sleeping Beauty and his hammer was still pounding. Like, was he fucking me right then in his dreams? Then I thought, copy kit! I ran over to my bag and got the mold on him. His hammer maxed out the kit. My fucking heart was racing. As soon as the mold was set, I peeled it off, threw all my stuff in my bag, and went for the door. I opened the door and just stopped. I don't know why. I got away. I don't know. I looked back at him. I looked in my bag. I don't know. I really don't know. I just grabbed my lucky tape. I ran and pushed the table over and started taping his ankles to the table legs. Once they were secure, I got behind him and tried to flip him up. Fuck, was he heavy. I got him up into a seated position, but that was it. I let go of him, thinking he would stay like that, but he dropped back down and cracked his head again. Felt bad about that one. It might have flicked his freak show switch back on. I tipped the table over on its side and kept his hammer under the tabletop. I went back behind him and pushed him back up again. Just held him there while I taped his wrist to the other two legs. I went back around the table, grabbed the upper legs, leaned back, trying to flip him over. Fuck, he was heavy. I eventually got him moving back and forth, and then the table flipped back on its legs, and I hit my head on the floor. Fuck, did that hurt. I heard him moaning, so I got up and put a good number of loops over his eyes and ears. I wasn't interested in dealing with them. I was going to tape his freak show smile too, but I kind of wanted to hear what he was going to say when he came to. He moaned a little more, but wasn't awake yet. I walked back over to my bag and looked back and saw his ass hanging out there in the middle of the dance floor. Then I thought, copycat. I put the mold back together and filled it with the solution. He was moaning again, and I couldn't help but start giggling. I saw myself in the mirror, and I looked fucking manic. I don't know why I was still there. I was flirting with the freak show. Every time I had ever come across him, I always thought, this guy is going to get his one day. And I guess I just thought maybe that day was today. I tested the solution with my finger, and it felt fully cured. I took the mold off, and there it was, in all its glory. And he started to moan and move around. I stood up and backed against the wall, trying not to giggle or make a sound. I had his copy in one hand and my lucky tape in the other. I looked at myself in the mirror again, and fuck if I didn't have a freak show smile on. So, I started taping the fucking copy to my waist. And he went, "What the fuck? What is this? Where am I? Ava? Who's there? What the fuck is going on? Let me go! Whoever is behind this is gonna pay big time. Ava? Let me go! If you let me go now, I promise I will go easy on you. I'll give you whatever you want. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Talk to me, damn it! You're only making this worse for yourself the longer you leave me like this. You think you're real fucking smart, hey? Real fucking funny. You wait until I get my hands on you. You're gonna regret you ever fucked with me. Hello? And then, the copy was on. It was so long, the solution couldn't even keep it standing straight. I looked at myself in the mirror and flopped it side to side and almost shit. I had my hand over my mouth to keep myself from laughing my ass off. I walked over to him and started smacking him across each of his ass cheeks, just like he did to me. And he went, "Oh, yes, Daddy's here. We are always ready for Daddy. Daddy, we've been a bad boy. We need to be taught our lesson. Oh, yeah. We're ready for our lesson, Daddy. Please, Daddy, please. We're starving for our lesson, Daddy. We've been such a bad boy, Daddy. Please, Daddy. We want to be good again, Daddy. We want to be a good boy, Daddy. Come on, Daddy. Please. Give it to me, Daddy. Give it to me. Please. Please. We need Daddy so badly." Fuck. I was not expecting that at all. I don't know. I kind of just felt like leaving at that point. I mean, He really did seem like he wanted a taste of his own copy. Maybe things would have been a little different if I didn't tape up his eyes and ears. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. I hesitated. I kind of wanted to be the daddy. But the daddy that withheld the precious lesson. I mean, maybe it was all an act, just to get what he wanted. Oof. I was too deep into the freak show. It was hurting my brain. When I looked at myself in the mirror, my face had transformed into just confused sadness. Honestly, like what a fucking freak show. I probably should have left earlier. I was too far along. I saw too much. I had to see it through. I don't think I would have been able to live with myself if I just left. So, I threw in his copy and pushed it as far as it would go. He clasped his ass on it, picked me off the floor, and started shaking me back and forth. I think I got fucking whiplash, like riding a wild bull. What did I say about that lucky tape? Fuck. Eventually, it came loose, and I went flying. Cracked my head on the floor again. I gotta say, that shit really hurts. I looked back over at him, and he was breathing really intensely. Then he screamed, and the copy shot right out of his ass, and he walked the table right into one of the mirrors. A huge chunk came off the wall and crashed over his head. Shards just sprayed everywhere, and he was still once again. I just laid there, laughing. He came to again, and the mirror had cut one of his wrists loose. He started to grab at the tape wrapped around his head. I shot up, grabbed my bag, and went for the door again. I opened the door, and I just stopped. Again. I did know why this time. I looked back at his copy on the floor and just felt like I needed it. Felt like it was mine. I worked hard for it. I'd hold it as a keepsake, something to show the grandkids. I ran over and grabbed it, and as I threw it in my bag, I saw the syringes. And I thought, this fucking astronut is off to the cosmos. Maybe he'll get a better perspective on Mother Earth if he ever makes it back from his journey. So I grabbed one in each hand, came up behind him, and emptied one in each ass cheek. Oh, did he fucking scream. Wow. He was trying to move the table around again and just kept stepping on shards of mirror. Oh, the screaming. I kind of felt bad. But he started to slow down. Maybe he had finally played himself out. As I turned to the door, there he was, wearing that same face of complete horror. I burst out laughing. He went back to the door and opened it and motioned for me to follow. I looked back at the freak show, then at myself in the mirror, and I started to get a naughty smile. I went over to the stereo, dropped my bag, and pressed the play button. Oh, his face was just precious. Freak show screaming himself hoarse. If he wanted to take me, he was going to take me right fucking now. Oh, I was aching for him. Oh, I wanted to see that real hammer. In the flesh. If Rita wasn't going to use it, it was fucking mine. Now, bring that hammer out here and slam my flower to this fucking beat, boy. Ha ha ha! I run all these motherfuckers.